morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey guys, happy Thursday.
Thursday. Week's flying.
It is. There we go.
Hope you are well, guys. We'll just bring up the comments here
Right.
so I know what is happening.
2 people are in. Is that just me and you or?
Could be. Could be. All right.
Rena's in. Happy birthday, Rena.
Tanya.
Everyone give a shout out to
Rena.
Rena.
Happy birthday, mate.
I didn't see you this morning. I think you're over here. So happy birthday for today.
Yeah, sneaky.
Yeah. Who else we got? Shelley and Tanya. Hey guys.
Cool.
Welcome.
All coming in now.
Welcome.
Welcome, guys. So today we are talking about comparison to elites.
Comparisons, yes. So comparisons in general, but more so training based. So yeah, training, comparing to elite athletes, comparing to elite, just sort of people up there. You know, like you go to Instagram feeds, all these people that like look like good shape, like great shape. Usually some sort of athlete or whatever it might be. So yeah, so it's different things about comparison, like comparing yourself to those sort of people.
It's probably a big place to start, man, because that would be the biggest one these days. Hey, is
Instagram.
people comparing to Instagram and Facebook and everything that shows up in our news feeds. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but I know that it can be very detrimental to people.
Yeah, 100%.
Getting hard on themselves and being down because they don't look that way or they don't have that lifestyle or whatever it might be, and it's a dangerous road to follow.
Yeah, 100%. Like I was hearing someone speak about it last time, and they put it. I can't remember the exact words either. They put it the best way, like just that Instagram scroll is pretty much a comparison, just a life comparison.
Yeah.
A scroll of life comparison. That's all it is. So you're just comparing yourself to every single post on there, and it's how like someone's got a different life to you, and life that you wish you could have, or you could look like that, or whatever it might be. And as you said, it can be detrimental. Don't get me wrong, there's also an upside to this. It's also very motivational, very inspirational, makes you aspire to be like these people. And that's the good thing. The negative side to that is that everyone's different, we're not all the same. So even if you do try your hardest, you're definitely not going to look like them because they've got different genetics. You could even look better than them, but you're not going to look like exactly like them. So it is good in the fact that it inspires and it motivates, but it can be detrimental when you sort of. And because Instagram, social media is not such, it's not a truthful sort of area. There's a lot of fibbers out there.
Well, how many people do you see showing the downside of their life on social media?
They're all highlights. They're all highlights.
Yeah, everything is happy days on social media because you're not going to show the bad times, the down times. So, 100%.
And a lot of it is, as I said, it can be a lot of fibbers out there. So, for example, people that sort of show what they look like and then they advertise like a 6-week program to look like that. Like it's not true. I guarantee it did not take them 6 weeks to look the way they did. If it did take them 6 weeks to look like that, there's also stuff that you probably have to inject in yourself. It's not going to be great to look like that in 6 weeks. So there are a lot of figures out there. That's why it also can mess with your head and get comparisons out there. But as I said, there are upsides and downsides. I'll get into a few questions. So I just sent this one out to Dad. So for you personally, how is comparison to others, training wise, so not sort of business or anything, but just like training wise, how has it affected you, like, through your training, like through the past up until now? Like, how have you sort of viewed comparing others, or have you compared yourself? Or
firstly, I think it's almost built into us as humans to compare straight away. I think we automatically see something and we compare how do I perform to that? Yeah. Right. But it's like taking a step back to try and consider how did they get to that point, etc., which you already sort of mentioned. Like there's other things involved, but comparing for me in terms of training and stuff, I think it's like I said, it's natural to go, okay, they lift that amount, but like the person I might be comparing to is 6'8". They're a completely different genetic makeup to me. Like so, it's you sometimes just got to take a back seat and go, hang on, that person's completely different. I've just got to try and be the best I can be.
100%.
And what did it take for that person to get to that point? Like they didn't come out looking like that. Yeah. And genetics play a part where certain people can put on muscle a lot easier than others, and as we know, it's very hard for some people.
Well, I guess on the upside of us, we can lose weight quicker than other people can. Yeah. So there are upsides and downsides to both sides. So
100%. It's a double-edged sword, but in terms of affecting me, I think like growing up, sport-wise, it was always playing team sport. It's competitive. You need to compare to go, shit, I need to do something to be better than that person to take that spot in the team, right? So like, but that was positive for me.
Yeah, so that's motivation.
That was motivating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the
100%.
downside is definitely comparing to people in sport that may have been, doing it longer than you. They're putting in more effort than you. So I think effort is the key that a lot of people need to think about when they're comparing to other people. Is how much, like, are they training 8 hours a day for that specific, training in the gym or sport or whatever, versus you're putting an hour in or 2 hours a week. How can you be at that level?
Yeah.
So we've just got to be realistic and have realistic expectations of what is possible. But a lot is possible if you put the work in.
100%. But then you said the best there. It's like, what are they doing that's different to what you're doing? What's like, just training specific wise, like if they're training 8 hours a day, that means how much treatment they're getting those days. So training 8 hours, you gotta have a lot of recovery. So that means you gotta have a lot of physio, you gotta have a lot of massage, you gotta have a lot of other stuff on the side that these elite athletes are doing, which they all get. They're not paying for this, most of them. They're all getting it given to them, they're sponsored or whatever it might be. So you gotta think of all this extra stuff that they're doing as well to get to where they are. And then, as I said, not what necessarily is posted on Instagram and the stuff that or on social media or whatever you see it, and the stuff they say, how they get there, usually it's not the case. Usually it's them trying to make money. They're trying to sell you something that's trying to say you could do this as well in a short period of time, so buy this. And then they usually get negative reviews, but they don't care because they have money for it. So they get paid in the short term. So it's a big thing that being realistic with your training, being realistic with who you are. As I said, we're not 6'8", we're not like built like Thor, that big guy from Game of Thrones, that big dude. So you're not built like these sort of guys. So you got to be realistic. So, but as we said, there's always an upside. So there's always the motivation. Like that guy, the 6'8" guy lifted whatever he lifted. Let's say he lifted like 200 kilos doing something. It means you can push yourself to that limit to try and get to not necessarily lift 200 kilos, but lift heavier than what you're doing. He's pushing himself to the limit. So it's that sort of motivation that you take away from these comparisons. And then not being disheartened when you can't get exactly what they're getting, because you're not exactly the same person. You're not going to have the exact same physique. You're not going to have the exact same numbers. You could look better. You could lift more. It just depends on the different circumstances that they're in, that what you're in. As Daz, the biggest thing Daz said there was being realistic with your expectations. So understanding where you're at, understanding, and the next big thing is your effort. The effort's going to come down to most things. If these guys that look great, they put in effort. Like, no matter if they've taken stuff, if they haven't taken stuff, they're still eating right, they're still putting the effort. You can't look like that or perform at the level, depending on what you're looking at. If you can't perform at the level, you can't look the way these guys do if they don't put in the effort and do the stuff that when no one's watching. So not when you're here, not when you're training here, so the stuff that when you do when no one's looking at you. So when you're eating at home, when you're trying to get your rest in, when you just trying to stay, whether it's not physical, whether it's just your mental state, trying to stay in that mental state. So the stuff you do when you're not here, when people aren't watching, is the most important things. Because when you're here, it's easy. You get given what to do, you got help, you can get people to ask you, you got people to push you, but it's when you're on your own, it's when these elite guys, that's when they get their money. It's when they're on their own, it's when they're doing stuff that no one sees. And that's the big stuff. But
I think you've got to treat every day like a way around that, or a way to sort of think about it. It's easier said than done, but I can't remember where I heard this, but it's to always pretend that there's a camera on you and people are watching. And that way, obviously, you're going to rise up to do the things that you know are correct.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's probably some good times.
I'm just thinking, man.
There's some times that you don't want the camera on, right?
Cameras on me, geez.
But yeah, like I think you get it though in terms of
100%.
Always giving your best as if someone's watching.
Yeah,
you know.
That's massive, because when you hear if people are watching you, so you feel like you have to perform. And that's perfect way to think about it. So even when you're at home, when you're deciding what to eat, when you're deciding when you should go to sleep, when you're deciding whatever it might be, whatever's going to have a good choice or a bad or not so good choice for you, what's the better option? And if someone was watching over you, which one would you choose? That's a good way to look at it. If someone's always watching you, but again, sometimes you probably don't want people to watch you. Depending on what you're doing. So the next question, I sort of went through these, but we cover them again. So you said when you were younger, it was more soccer and football based and more competitive based. Has the way you compared yourself to others changed since, like when you were younger, were you heavily influenced by like people, and then as you got older you realised that that's not the way you should look at it, or do you always had that sort of mindset where it's I'm just me, do it?
Yeah, I think to be honest, a lot of it was just sport related.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I really compared too much or cared too much about what other people were doing. I don't know whether it's just a personality trait that I had. I don't know. I can't for the life of me remember being competitive in other ways.
Yeah, but like for example, say you're a big Liverpool supporter, so I'm guessing you compare yourself to Gerrard at some point.
He's my god.
Yeah. So what I mean, like when you realise that, or maybe I can't get to that level, that quite like the top of the top. Like, were you that specific when you were younger that I'm going to get to that? I'm going to be exactly like Gerrard. I'm going to be better than Gerrard.
Yeah. So I 100% wanted to be at that level.
Yeah. And as I said, that's not necessarily bad because you probably push further than you would have if you aimed for someone that's playing the A.
100%. Yeah, and that's what we're saying about that's where comparing can be better, right? Where it motivates you, but at the end of the day, you've got to do you. Because like you said, you could be better than them, or you could just be way better than what you think. Because I think a lot of us underestimate what we're capable of.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just that we overestimate what we can probably do in a short amount of time, but we underestimate what we're able to do in a long period of time. So like with exercise and getting stronger and transformations, like it takes time. It's not something that you flip a switch and, you know, we do a 28-day trial or whatever it is and that's it. Like that's all you need to do. That's just a start point.
The foundation.
That's the start. To just see if you enjoy it, if you like that, can you see yourself doing this? And, you know, and that's just the foundation and platform for you to start.
100%. Yeah, so that's massive. Yeah, so for I think for myself, I think everyone's the same. When you do anything, when you're starting anything, you're very sort of naive. I guess I don't know if there's lack for a better term, but you just think, oh, I'm going to be like that person. Whenever you start anything, like if I started playing rugby league, I'm going to be like the NRL players. I started doing weightlifting, so I think I'm going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So you think you have, as I said, that's not a bad thing because you aim higher. It's like whenever a goal, you want to always aim for the highest goal because even if you hit low, you're still going to hit better than if you aim down here. So it is a good thing, but then you've got to realise the negative side of that is that when if you can't quite reach that goal, which isn't a bad thing because you're still working towards it, is not being disheartened and that you quit. That's the big thing with these sort of comparisons is that people quit because you don't hit the target, you feel like you're nowhere near it, or you feel like you're not making progress to get near it, and then you turn away. Like for example, those that have tried, I'm not a fan of diets, but those that have done diets, those that have done training programs, those that have done different stuff that they don't get the results that they're expecting because they compare themselves to someone else. I don't know, because you don't know what to get because you haven't done it yet. Like you only get the results after you've done it. Like you can't compare yourself to someone else. You have to do it to realise what the results will be. So the big thing here is your comparisons can't force you to quit what you're doing. You can't go, oh, I'm not good enough for this, I'm not going to do it anymore. That's
no such thing as quitting.
That's it. You've got to realise that, okay, I'm here now, I've made this much progress, it's probably not as much as what I thought, wherever that thought came from, I don't know where it came from, but it's probably not as much as I thought, but I've made this much progress, that means I'm going to keep making progress from this point onwards. I'm not going to now make from this progress, go backwards. I'm not going to quit and go the other way, because what's the point? You just wasted that much time in your life to better yourself, and then you realise because you're not where this person is on Instagram, you're not where this person is on TV or whoever it might be, and then you quit.
We'll bring it back to what we do in terms of like results. You know, say losing percents of body fat, right?
Yeah.
So we compare that. You might compare to other people when we do a program and you're monitoring your body fat. And you go, oh, that person's lost 2% this month. I've only lost 0.4 or something, right? And it's like, but does that really matter? Like if you lost 0.4,
you still lost
over the next per month over the next 2 years, like where are you going to be? You're going to be in a much better place than you building it up in your head going, I'm not good enough, like I'm not losing fast enough, it's too hard, I'm putting in so much effort, but I'm not where I want to be yesterday. But you're making, like, it's progress.
Yeah.
Like you got to try and sit back and go, I shouldn't be comparing with you.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm moving towards where I want to go, no matter how small that change is, it will add up over time.
100%.
But we just get caught up in it's not enough right now, I want it yesterday.
Yeah.
And even like lifting as well. So one thing that we can see as coaches on the training floor and that as well is that we might give a particular person a different exercise because we're not happy with their mobility or flexibility to do the movement, they can't get in the right position. So we'll give you an alternative exercise, but then you feel like you're not as good as the people around you because you're not doing that exercise. And it's like...
It's not the case.
It's not the case. Yeah. Like, you're just at a different place right now. You don't know their history of how long they've been training for or what issues they may have had and have overcome to be able to get to that point as well. So we've got to try not to compare even exercises that we're doing. It's all making progress. It's all for you individually.
100%.
You know? So that's a big one that we come across.
Yes, that's it. And what Dad was saying with either of those, whether it be the training or you losing % body fat, That's the double-edged sword, especially the body fat example. That's the double-edged sword he's talking about. You've aimed for 3% body fat, whatever it might be. That's a big goal. And that's awesome. But you now can't be disheartened because you haven't quite got it. It's as Dad was saying, you can't now quit. What's the point of quitting when you're going to put the fat back on? Like, it doesn't make sense. You just got to understand that, as Dad said, you've made 0.4%, which means as doing that for a year, doing that for 2 years, doing that for the rest of your life, you're still going to be coming down that ladder. I mean, some months you might lose more than that. You might lose a little bit less, you might lose more. So comparisons can't force you to quit. That's the big thing. A big thing that I've seen around as I've gone through fitness and all that sort of stuff is that people look at these people, they see the results they get, and then they quit because they're not getting the results. Quitting is the biggest thing that we can't do. Like, you can't just give up on something because you feel like you're not where you should be, whereas you've never done it before, really, because you think you're not where you should be, but you obviously have never done it because you don't know where you are at. Where you are at is probably where you should be, and it's a reflection of a number of things. Reflection of your lifestyle, your routine, your current routine, your training, your nutrition, and most importantly, all those things tie into effort. So that's what it's always going to come down to. And then the amount of effort, so the amount of results you get is going to be directly based to what you deserve. So you're always going to get what you deserve. If you put in the work, you put in the effort, you're going to get the results that you get. And whether that be small or large, that's still what you deserve in that long run. Whether you put in 100, like the most effort you can, that's the most results you're going to get. And what's the point of quitting if you're just going to reverse that the other way? So that's the big thing, is that you can't just. That's because I've only been like a short period of time. I've seen it a lot already where people they don't quite hit the mark, and then they fall off the wagon completely, and then they go completely the other direction, and it just doesn't make sense.
Go back to doing nothing because they got disheartened by that's a number. Yeah. But
and the number's a positive one.
Yeah.
It's still they still lost weight, but they're like, it's not as much they want to lose, so they'll quit and they'll go put weight back on. It's
hard as coaches, right, to try and get people to understand, to try and fall in love with the process, and that's why you've got to enjoy what you're doing. Like, especially if you're coming here, like, you've got to enjoy how we coach you, this type of training, and obviously the progress.
Yeah, and more than anything, enjoy the atmosphere. Like, atmosphere, that's what we bring different. That's why it's more enjoyable to come here and train with people train with people, make friends while you're here. So you guys are working on it together, and as you said, some people here might make progress faster than you, but you're still both making progress. Yeah. And eventually, the people that make fast progress are going to slow down. You can't continuously make like 100% progress every time you do something. You're going to eventually slow down. Progress will get smaller and smaller as you get better and better.
Yeah.
So those that do get up to that top level will notice small increases, and then there'll be massive increases. Like, for example, I had someone, I'm not going to mention their name, but I had someone come to me last week with their 1RM, and they were sort of disappointed in the lift that they did. I think it was, what was the lift you did last week?
We had chin up and we had front squat.
Front squat, it was the front squat. So front squat. So this person, they put on, to me it was massive, but to them it wasn't a big deal. Like, I think they lifted something like 60 kilos, and that was they hit their 1RM, and their previous was 50. So they put on 10 kilograms from what they were before, and they were like, oh, it's not that much, like, because it's only like 2 plates down here, like 2 of those thin plates that puts on. But when you think about it, it's
20% increase.
Yeah, it's 20% increase on what you've done. Yeah. So, like, I don't know, you might, like, they must be comparing to someone else out there that's maybe lifting like more than them, or might have increased more, but 20% increase from what you've done is massive. Like, some people put on, like, for example, myself, I'm happy if I put on 1.25 like kilos on each, like 2.5.
And that's only because the plates are that size. Yeah. Like, if they were half a kilo plate, I'd take it.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you got to take everything, and that was a massive jump. Like, those. And there was another thing, like, just think about this. I had it when was it? It was last year, middle of last year. I had someone come in. I don't know. I won't throw his name out there, but he came up to me and said to me, again, he played it down like it was nothing. But you got to be excited about these goals, because at his work he has obviously he's in a multi-story building, and he has an elevator or he's a staircase, and he used to take the stairs. I think he's up like 5 flights of stairs. He used to take, I think, 1 flight of stairs needs to be gas, so then he used to take the elevator the rest of the way up. And then he came up to me and said, oh, for the first time in my life, I did 4 flights of stairs. And he's like, but it wasn't a big deal to him. Yeah. I'm like, that's massive. Yeah. Like, that's
it's lifestyle change. Like,
because he's probably comparing himself to guys that can go up like 10 flights of stairs, but it's not him. Like, he started from 1 flight of stairs that you could barely do, going up to 4, just from training around here. Yeah, that was massive. You come to me last year and told me that. That was.
Yeah, I think
I was in. Yeah,
it's awareness, right? It's
yeah,
awareness of
100%.
what these results mean, and I guess that's down to us to educate on that too. But yeah, sometimes our expectation is off. Like we expect that we should put 20 kilos on, or like on the bar or whatever it might be. You know, it's just getting the expectation right.
Yeah.
For what it is.
And then like we're talking about positive changes. Like he did 4 flights of stairs. That person put on 10 kilos on their dumbbell, but on their lifts. But for example,
if you miss it?
Yeah, as I say, even if you have a negative impact, you got to then not so much look at it like as a bad thing. You got to look at it as you got to reflect on what you did to get to that point. Maybe you missed some areas, or you missed some areas that you probably should have been working on, whether it be your training that you went backwards on, or your nutrition that you went backwards on. Maybe you got to look back and think, well, did I eat too much like free food meals? Did I not train as often as I should? Did I not get as much rest as I should?
Sleep.
So yeah, so it all comes back to everything. It's not so much you've gone backwards because of any other external impact. As I said, your results are going to be a direct impact of what you deserve. So what you put in is what you're going to get out of it. So, and it's going to be at your rate. So like for example, if I put in 100%, Dad puts in 100%, we're still going to get different results. We're not the same person. Even if we do the exact same thing, we're going to get different results, whether it be positive or negative. And then we just got to reflect on what we've done and how we can improve on that in the future. If we went backwards, it's like, what could we have done better to make that, to improve?
I think that's the key, is like, what can I have done better? Because effort is one thing, and that is a big key. But if it might be behind the strategy that you're using too, that you may not quite be there. The effort's there, but maybe it's not the right protocol for you in terms of your nutrition, or some habits just aren't quite right yet. But you're trying really hard, the effort's there, but it just hasn't clicked yet.
Yeah.
You know, so that's another variable that can happen. So, you know, we're not just saying that because you put in all the effort, you should get all of the result. Sometimes it can be behind the scenes of the behaviours and the habits that you've got ingrained too that may need adjusting for you to see that change.
Yeah, 100%.
Effort it's always going to start with effort though. It's going to be the foundation of.
And you guys coming in here, you guys training here, you guys trying to work on a little bit of nutrition every week. That little bit of effort's adding to those little increments that you're making. So whether you're maybe putting on weight and you don't really want to put on weight, you're probably putting on less weight than obviously you are putting on less weight than what you would have if you weren't here and you weren't trying to work on nutrition. Exactly. So you've got to take those small wins, what you think are small wins, are actually giant wins, like that staircase thing. Like I'm still a bit reflecting on that staircase. That was massive. It's probably as bigger to me than it is to probably more people out there that don't understand. But like, it's just, that was, like, I remember Daz got overjoyed with the hinge position of Omar when he first got. It's those small things that you guys think are tiny, but they're massive things. Like, they're massive wins. Like 1 flight of stairs to 4 flight of stairs, and he was wrapped with, like, he come and told me. I had another person about doing a run, and she knocked off like 4 minutes from what she used to do like 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before. Like these wins that they don't think are massive, you got to make the most of it, because that's what's going to motivate you and push you on. And it's comparing you to you. That's the biggest thing. Like focusing on yourself, because as much as you can take motivation, inspiration from these people, which is great, you can try do what they do. You can strive to be up to that level and try get to where they are. But then the biggest thing, your results is going to be a reflection of what you've done and what you deserve. So you got to not get disheartened by that and sort of be motivated by it.
Do you.
We've got some comments in here, or shout outs or something.
16 comments here, so what's going on? Monica, totally agree that we compare, however we have to get into consideration our personal ability. Yeah, so 100%.
That's it.
We've already said.
That's spot on, Monica.
Our natural ability is at a certain point, right? Genetics wise.
Exactly.
Muscle, powerful.
100%. And we can always improve. Like we're all made up differently. Like I don't have the same muscle fibers as Usain Bolt. I'm definitely not going to run the 100 meters as fast as Usain Bolt has. But it doesn't mean I can't try to get faster. It doesn't mean I can't try to be more explosive with what I do. I'm probably not going to get to that level, but I can still aspire to push on and do similar things that he did to try and get better at that sort of thing. I'm not going to get there, and I can't expect to get where he was. He's the fastest in the world. There's only one in billions of people. So like, it's those sort of things where 100%, you've got your own abilities, you've got your own lifestyle, and as I said, it's a direct reflection of what you deserve is what you're going to get. And because that was the big thing that my assistant principal told me before at HSC, he's like, you guys, whatever you deserve, you're going to get in the HSC. That's 100%. I didn't do well. No, I didn't do too bad. But yeah, but I'm saying that. But it's 100% true. Whether it be academically, whether it be physically, whether it be anything you do, whatever the effort you put in is what you deserve. And physically, it shows differently, obviously, because we're all made up differently. Like some people might look better than you, and you might have done the same sort of thing they have, but it's not. They're not you. You're not them. And that's why I love fitness, though. I love it that I'm the only person me. Like I'm the only me. You're the only you. Like, I think that's the
We're all
best
unique.
thing. That's what I mean. We're all unique. We all got our own sort of like this is.
We've got our own, like Vanessa Edwards has just put a comment in. It's great to have someone to look up to, but you have to know your own strengths.
Yeah.
And that's right. There's something that you are way better at than someone else.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a lot of people need to try and find what that is.
Yeah.
There's something that you are really, really good at that you can help other people with, etc. It's just trying to find what is your superpower.
100%. And then fitness-wise, there's something you are progressing different to what everyone else is progressing. You're probably progressing better than what other people are. You might not be progressing as good as everyone, but you're progressing better than some people. So there's everything. There's always an upside, especially with your training. It's like the way it sounds so stupid, but like everyone's like an artist, and this is your master. This is your artwork. Like what you're doing, yes, your canvas. Because whatever you can do, it's all on you. Like no one can lift a weight for you to make your bicep bigger. No one can like do anything fitness wise for you to get better. It's all on you. So whatever effort, as I said, whatever effort you put in, whatever nutrition, training, sleeping, mental state, all that stuff works in towards it. And that's what these elite guys, if you compare yourself to them, that's what they have on point. Like they got a lot of help. They got to that level on their own usually, but they had help towards the later end of that. But that's the massive thing. So. And then the big thing besides that is, well, at our level here, when we compare ourselves, like for example, when I compare myself to someone on Instagram, when I compare myself to athletes, is that I can aspire to be like them. I can like be motivated by these guys, but I can't be disheartened when I don't have results that they're getting. I've got to be pushing further and saying, look at how far I've come. Like if you guys go back, if you've been training here for a while, we've been doing focus on fitness nutrition, you go back and look at your photos of yourself, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when you first started, and you realise why you're doing it and how far you've come. It's a massive thing, man. Like I went back and looked at photos of me like 5-6 years ago, and completely different to who I am now. Like, and you don't think about that because you see yourself every day. You don't see those changes until you go back and look. And it's like, shit, this is why I started.
100%.
This is why I'm doing this. This is why, and we all got different reasons. Like, Dad's got a family. We all got different, different things we push. Why we do it and why we do things. Like people want to play with their kids when they're older. That's a massive one. That's probably one of the biggest ones for our people here as well. Yes, and like
be around longer.
Be around longer, yeah.
Like
so be around longer with your family. Yeah. A lot of it's family based. So going back and looking and reflecting on where you've come from, and then seeing your results. You don't need to compare that to anyone. You're comparing it to you. Like that's, like for example, that 1 flight of stairs, the 4 flights of stairs. That's comparing to him. He quadrupled what he did. Like that's massive. Like that's I
know what it's like. You look at the assessments that we do regularly, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, we might show a leaderboard or whatever with our the recent ones that we've done, but really it's about you seeing the change in terms of how many push-ups can you do in 1 minute. When you first started, you might have only got 1 or 2 out.
Yeah, and they might have been in
terrible form.
Yeah. might be on your knees and maybe progress to your toes.
Exactly. So like that's the whole purpose of the assessment, is for you guys to actually see that not only whatever's happening physically, like visually, but what's happening to you physically in terms of your strength and your performance in how you do certain exercises. Like that is going to, like long term, like you guys might not care about doing things better necessarily, but long term that's going to be good for your health.
Yeah, it's going to be better. It's going to be better on your joints. It's going to be better for overall movement, movement. Like just trying to go to the grocery store and pick up groceries to take out of the car, take back to your house. If you struggle with that hinge position, and you struggle with any sort of gripping motion, it's gonna hurt trying to do just normal tasks.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's the things that we probably don't, and it's hard to sort of push these things because like we see them every day. Like Omar's hinge thing doesn't seem like a massive thing, but that's massive in like his life. Like how he's not gonna have as many back issues as what he potentially could have had if he didn't have that sort of strength in his lower back now to stay upright. Like it's those small, seemingly small things that are massive like impacts. Like it's only small things that have massive, like I don't know.
They all stack up, right? If you put all your small wins together, like it turns into a big massive
100%.
win. So it's just sometimes coming back to that reality of going like, fuck, it's progress. Like that's stacking up. You know?
100%.
My pyramid is forming.
And even when you go, even like everything's progress, and even when you go back, it's still progress. So that's a learning experience. Now you got to look back and think, okay, we'll do something a little bit different. So you don't necessarily look at everything as a win or a loss. It's like it's either you progress or you learn. Like you learn from you progress and you learn, or you learn from what you might have done negatively, like what seems negative, and then you progress on from there. So it's all about that upward trajectory.
Yeah, one thing I don't think we've touched on too much is like, what if you have a negative result, right? Like in terms of the fat loss or the I think we mentioned it in terms of strength gain, but it's like, then what can you do differently? Instead of seeing it and beating yourself up over it, it's like, well, okay, what have I been doing? And this is why journaling or tracking what you eat or tracking your exercise and you know, using MyZone and stuff like that where we can see your effort, like seeing those things enables you to be able to gauge what can I maybe try a little bit differently. Like again, it could be just one small thing that you tweak and all of a sudden things turn around for you. But it's assessing those things.
And it's always that's the thing that I find fun about. That's why I find it fun that we're all unique, because we all got different things that we can work on, and what's going to work for me probably won't work for Daz. What's going to work for Daz probably won't work for me, and that's why I find fun. Like I can train completely different to everyone. I can eat completely different to people and have different results. I can eat the same and have different results. I just love that. I find that's like the fun thing about especially the fitness industry and the fitness like lifestyle, is that you can try a number of things, and whatever's going to happen is going to be specific to you. I find that so fun and interesting, and just finding out more stuff about yourself as you go through this process. And that's how I fall in love with the process. Like we always say, fall in love with the process. I fall in love with it because every day I have something to learn about myself. I find how my body reacts to food. I find how my body reacts to training, how my body reacts to sleep, how my body reacts to all these different mental state things. And that's exciting to me, because like obviously sometimes I'm gonna have a shit reaction to food, I'm gonna have a shit reaction to training, I'm gonna have a shit reaction to sleep. But then that's where you learn, and then you go, and now I know what works for me, and if that stops working, I can change it up a bit. Yeah. But that's massive.
Connie, really need to hear this today. Thank you so much. You're most welcome, mate.
All right, Connie, I miss you outside, Connie. You're welcome back inside.
Gosh, I love you guys. We love you too.
Yes.
Madeline has said, all it takes sometimes is an outsider's positive offhand comment to reinforce how great you are doing. So pay it forward and remind someone that they're doing great. Absolutely, I love that, Mads. Connie said, well said. Yeah, 100%. Like, pay it forward is a really great thing that you just mentioned there, mate. Because just giving someone some positive reinforcement that they're doing something great is enough for it to drive some people forward. So
and big on that is that, like, we can say it as much as we can, but when it's genuine, that's when it means the most. Like, we can say, oh, good rep, when it wasn't necessarily a good rep, like, just to keep pushing. But when
you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. But when it's legit, like, if you see someone there legit, like, it doesn't have to be a big comment. Maybe someone's got their hair done and it looks good. Like, you say, oh, like, nice hair. Like, it's that small comment, and that could lift up their whole day. They could have a shit day up until they saw you for that one little thing. And then, as I said, that's the smallest comments, the smallest gestures can have the biggest impacts. It is massive.
Yeah, 100%. Ness said, getting up early is hard, but love coming to the classes. It's all worth it. Yep, that's good, mate. You've got that habit down, and I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Rena has also said that joining Back to Basics has been life-changing for her. I love everything about it. Oh, thanks, mate. I love hearing that stuff. You're going to make me emotional.
That's massive.
Lee says, hello. Great talk, boys, from Sal. We love you, Sal. What's Mads got again here? Biggest motivation for me was being surrounded by all the positivity that came from the familiar. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear as well, Mads. Jeez, this is a boost up for me. I'm feeling motivated and
it's going to set us the tears, man. It's going to start crying as they can go up.
That's awesome.
Jeez.
Nick has also said all the 1%ers are what gets you results.
Yes.
100%. 1% a day is 365% increase over a year, right?
100%. It couldn't come from a more fitting person than Nick. So Nick, someone, for those that don't know, Nick Fenari, she puts in the effort, obviously in training, works hard at training, works hard as a team player, works hard. Everything she does here when people are watching, she does on point. And 100% when no one's watching, she does just as good as the effort, and it shows in the results. And the assessment that we did on Monday, Nick Fenari smashed that. Like, everything she did was to the highest level. Like, she did everything on her toes. Like, the push-ups were on her toes. Form was on point the whole way. And it's just, that comment is just 100% Nick Fano in a T. So those 1%ers that you put in is what's going to give you the effort. As I said, what you put in, what you get is what you deserve. And Nick Fano is a great example of that. So can't speak highly enough of what she's done, what she's been doing, especially through Back to Basics, been here for over 4 or 5 years. Yeah, and then what she's done, how she's taken on board, and how she jumped on it, how she's still motivating people every day, and keeping motivated through that, and just massive props to you, Nick. There's just you probably don't get as many shout outs as you probably deserve. You're like a massive inspiration. Everyone that walks in here knows and sees you and just gets pumped up. But I get pumped up by seeing you work out every day. It's just massive. 100% Nick.
Good on you, buddy. Well said, man. Joe Stedman has said, can you each give us a specific tweak you've had to make to your training and or nutrition to counteract a negative result?
Yes. Okay. Good question. All right, so let me read that again. Can you each give me a specific tweak you've had to make to your training and or nutrition? Okay. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm happy to. On the nutrition side, one tweak, and it happens often, this wasn't just a one-off thing. I'm not sure if that's what you're after or not, is one big tool to take away, but really was just how much to eat and what types of foods to try and have less of or more of.
Yeah.
And that's just come with practice over time. Maintaining a result it's just habit for me now. I can afford to have some extra free food, and then I know what to do to
education
to overcome it, and it's just practice and learning. But really, learning the skills of knowing exactly what you're eating, how much exercise is enough for you to keep your result or to move forward. Because a lot of the time we don't factor in recovery as much as what we should, and we think more is more. So that's probably one on the training side that has been huge for me, was over the years, playing sport from a young age and at a pretty competitive level. I was training or playing competitive games 6 out of 7 days for most weeks when I was younger.
It's hard to recover in that time.
100%. I don't know how I was doing it.
Machine.
I mean, obviously you're younger and you can take a little bit more, but as you get older, you need to be smarter. But you also, in terms of getting stronger, you need time for those muscles to recover. So even now, I find myself fighting to go, okay, I want to train every day. But obviously having a family and that now, the weekends are a little bit tougher for me. But
more enjoyable though.
It's enjoyable, 100%. The lifestyle's different. Yeah. But it's knowing that I need to, I've had a heavy Monday and Tuesday of training, and then I did some power stuff yesterday, and I know that I needed to do that particular session yesterday to allow me to recover from the 2 days prior, So it's just sort of understanding that more is not more. It's I can sustain 4 to 5 sessions a week forever. Yeah. I can just do that. And
4 days forever.
4 days forever.
That's it.
It's a saying. So it's just over time learning that about myself, that more is not more. Because I know a lot of you fight that too. You think that you need to be doing something for your result to keep happening, but it's not the case. If you can allow maximum effort in 4 or 5 sessions in the week, and then you're having a couple of days where you recover, and I don't mean stop, you may just do some light exercise.
Just walk and go do stuff outside.
Then you're allowing recovery, and you'll start to see that you'll probably get more progress. If you're someone that trains 6 or 7 days, you'll end up probably having better results if you back that off a little bit, or be a bit smarter with your training. Plus joints and all that, injuries, it sort of helps you stay healthy. So
100%.
What about you, mate?
Yeah, so if I go both, so my tweaks, I guess, so nutrition-wise, my tweak came from joining Baxter's last year, was doing the Game Changer. So I've always, since I started training, I've always eaten pretty good in terms of macronutrients and stuff like that, because I used to count macros and stuff like that, but I never focused too much on what type of food I was eating. I was only focused on macros and what I was getting. So when I first started here, Dad's had me on the Game Changer, and it was all pushed towards whole foods, what we push here. Just changing, that's where the Vomit Bowl was birthed. The Vomit Bowl, those that follow on Instagram, so the Vomit Bowl. So that, just having that little tweak of taking out food that would necessarily fit what I need to eat, but food that's actually more micronutrient dense rather than just macronutrients, stuff that gets those vitamins, minerals, so more whole food sources. That was a tweak that worked out for me really well. I didn't know what the result was going to be until I did it. I did it for that 8 weeks or whatever it was for the Game Changer, and I saw the results. I was like, shit, why would I get back to doing what I was doing when this is working so much. I put on weight and I lost body fat, so like I must put on muscle. That's usually how it goes. But yeah, so that was a tweak for me. So changing, cutting out cutting most of the processed food out and leaning more towards whole food, which wasn't necessarily a thing. I was more just for convenience. So I was getting like boxed chicken breast and stuff like that. So the stuff that was like, it's all fit to what I needed, but wasn't the best sort of source of food. So that's one tweak nutrition wise. Training based was checking the ego at the door. So I used to, when I first started lifting, I used to just, as we're talking about, we compared yourself to the other one. I was intimidated by everyone. I saw everyone lifting heavy, so I thought, shit, I've got to lift what these guys are lifting. So I went in there, did everything with terrible form, did everything with it was just terrible. It just wasn't great. So the big thing there was I was getting stronger. Somehow I was getting stronger, doing these lifts wrong. I was getting stronger, but I wasn't getting the muscle growing that I needed to muscle grow. So for example, when I was doing chest press, I was getting big shoulders because obviously my shoulders were being taken over the movement to try and get that weight up there. So I had to take almost half of everything I was lifting. So if I was lifting 100 kilos, I have to lift 50. Whatever I was doing, I had to cut down in half, and then working on squeezing the muscles and contracting the muscles that I was trying to work. So understanding the movement. So understanding that if I'm doing a pressing movement with my chest, I'm trying to squeeze the chest. If I'm doing a back movement, I'm trying to squeeze the back. But I had to decrease my weight to get there, because if I was to continue to do heavy weights, it would just go to the muscles that I'm most used to working. So that's the tweak that I used in training, was cutting the weight down, checking my ego at the door. Don't worry about what other people think I'm lifting. I couldn't care, because I'm on a different level to them. I'm not them, they're not me. So, and at the end of the day, I sort of progressed past them anyway, because I sort of took that step back to 3 steps back, 5 steps forward, whatever it might be. So
that's the key, man. Is that
massive.
You focused on the quality of the movement, mastering the skill before increasing load. And that's one thing that it's hard for people to comprehend. And
I think it's a big thing we're talking about now is comparison, because they're trying to lift what everyone else is lifting.
That's right.
It's like, I need to be lifting 10 kilos when I'm really only capable of those muscles lifting 5 kilos. So and in saying this, don't take the easy way out, because some people are out there capable of lifting 10 and then they drop down to 8, which is, they can also have detrimental effects. But yes, that's where the coaching comes into it. When we think that you can lift heavier, sort of take our advice. When we think you should probably go a little bit lighter and try to focus on squeezing the muscle, also maybe take that advice on board. Don't be disheartened by anything, or disheartened when you see someone else making progress. They're at a different level to you, you're at a different level to them. Just keep working. But yeah, great question, Joe. That was an awesome question.
Awesome. Very good.
Who have we got in there? Got any shout outs, anyone?
A few people in here. So we've got Amanda Moody's just come on, Cheryl, Dazza, Smitty's in, Mita, Rachel.
Smitty.
Rachel, hope you're feeling okay, mate. She just had wisdom teeth out.
Oh, Rach, I feel pain.
That was Monday or Tuesday, mate. Spur of the moment.
Did you get all 4?
Or 3, I think it was 3, wasn't it? Bandana, Stevie D, Rinky, Leanne, Seb. Good stuff, guys.
Seb.
And then Nam and the crew from earlier. So, there was a lot. But yeah, I mean, I've probably got to wrap it up soon, but any other questions, team? Throw them in the comments. I hope you just let us know if you've enjoyed this as well, guys. Joe, you're welcome, mate, anytime. Let us know if you've enjoyed it. Please like it, love it.
I find that these sort of mindset ones sort of get the most interaction from people out of the ones we do, because we obviously try to cover all bases: training, nutrition, and mindset. But these ones I think everyone can relate to. It's more easy to speak about this because we all deal with this.
Well, these are the battles that we have daily, every hour is what we're thinking about. You know, is like, why am I not seeing this, or why am I not getting that result, or what happened? How come I got a great result? What did I do? You know, we're always thinking about these things, and you know, the training and nutrition is just other parts of it. So they're the three main areas that we need to work on for us to see sustainable long-term result.
Yeah, and I think in wrapping, well, not wrapping this up, but in like sort of talking about today, I think one of the biggest things that was there is that it makes no sense to quit. Like it just doesn't make sense. Like whether you make small progress to large progress, or you go a little bit backwards, if you're going to quit, you're going to do 100% backwards of what that is. Like that's why I'm a fan of working out in general, because you coming in here for 5 minutes, putting in effort, is 50,000 times better than you sitting on the couch not coming in doing anything.
100%, yeah.
So like it doesn't make any sense to quit if you don't get a goal. It just makes sense to try and learn, what am I doing? What could I have done different? Taking the positives massively. Like don't try and undervalue your achievements. Don't undervalue your achievements. You got to try make the most of it. Like come back to that flight of stairs. That hit me hard when he told me that. Man. When he told me that, it hit me a lot harder than I probably should have been hit. But even when I just said it before, it just hit me hard. But yeah, it's those little achievements that people make that you need to make the most of. You need to realise how big it is to you. Like, it might not be big to the person next to you. Who cares what the person next to you is doing? This is on you. Like, yeah, that's why I'm a big fan.
You just made me think of something is, and maybe some of you guys can relate, is some of us have this attitude of all or nothing. Yeah. Like, we have to do everything at 100% perfection, or we don't do anything at all.
Yeah.
Whereas your mentality should be always something. So I'm always doing something. So coming back to come in and foam roll and then go home if you want, or come in and do something and then go. Like, you're doing something is better than nothing, or you doing everything perfect for a month and then you do nothing
for the rest of the year.
Yeah. It's like, so just trying to have that mentality of always something, not all or nothing.
Yeah, like say for example, if you're trying to fix your nutrition and say for a day you used to have 100% shit food. If you eat 95% shit food and 5% you're trying to put in some whole food in there, that's 5% more than what you were doing before. Like that's still a big goal. And then you continue that on, you can turn that into 10%. You continue that on, you turn it to 50%. It's those, as Dad was saying, it's more than what you do if you didn't come in. It's more than what you do if you didn't try. And it doesn't make sense to quit. It doesn't make sense to not keep going. Like it's just, you're just gonna go backwards and you're just gonna feel worse than what you did when you first came in. Like obviously you make these changes because you don't feel the right way, you don't feel good about where you are currently. So then how does it make sense when you say, oh, I'm not doing it anymore? It's like you got to look, and that's why I said that when you go, especially those that have been here for a little bit of time, when you go back and look at where you came from, you look at what you were eating before, you look at what you look like, maybe you change what you look like.
Yeah.
You look at all those different things and how much you can move better, how much you just feel better, how much you just, all those little things you don't even realise until you reflect back. It's just massive. Like, yeah, it's a big thing, guys. I think, especially those that have been here for probably over a year or 2 years, if you guys just want to go look back, even if you do it today or something, you go look back where you started and think, my effort has got me to where I am today. And it's like, I deserve everything that I've earned. I've learned everything that I've come to learn from here. And it's where you're going to go from here. It's pushing on past that and not worrying about if someone's made better progress in 2 years than you. It's not worrying about what they're doing. It's worrying about what you're doing and how far you've come. And that's the big thing about here. Because if you keep worrying about what everyone else is going to do, you're just going to be upset. There's always going to be someone bigger, stronger, faster, better at something, all right? But you don't worry about it. It's just about you getting better and better every day. And then you're going to overtake people you don't even realise. And you won't even care because you focus on you. It's just, it's massive.
Do you
That's
always do something?
That's it.
All right, cool. Nick has just said, great show, guys. Thanks so much for the shout out. You boys are forever paying it forward. And all of us appreciate you so much. Oh, thank you, mate. It's been a big pump up today.
Mate, I want to sit up so many times on the
show. Nick's also said, my comparison to athletes is not just about aesthetic, but it's their mental grit and mindset.
That's the biggest thing. These athletes, that's what they have over everyone, is that mental state. Because they got there by lots of sacrifice. They didn't get there by going out on weekends, eating wrong all the time. They got there by being onto a tee. Like, they got there doing stuff that their mental mindset is like second to none. Like there's the elite. Like some of the guys that are up there at the top, they put in so much effort and work that they might show themselves showing off on Instagram or show themselves showing off, but they don't show the background. That's what I said, when people aren't watching, that's when they're doing the stuff that matters.
That's it, man.
And that's when they get the results. And then I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, I saw a quote from him saying, people don't celebrate you whilst you're in the trenches, whilst you're doing the hard stuff. They only celebrate you at the victory. No one sees you when you're nothing. They only see you when you're something. Like these people you look at Instagram, they previously weren't there. They started from, as Dad said, no one's born like that. They all had to work together, but no one celebrates that part. They only celebrate the ending.
Yeah.
And most of us, all of us, or me currently, we're all in the progress. We're always going to be in the progress. It's a lifestyle thing. So it's just continuously working, celebrating along the way, making the most, learning as you go, and just keep doing, as Dad said, keep doing something.
Yeah.
It's massive.
No, good. Well said, man.
That's not my question. You can wrap it up.
All right, well, we'll leave it there.
It's fired me up today. It's a good one. I liked it.
Awesome. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this show, team. So hopefully it's the case with you guys. And obviously, thanks for your feedback. But yeah, please give us stuff that you want us to talk about, okay? Because we love doing this, and it's an opportunity for us to just talk about or shoot shit about everything, because we love this. So and we love always giving back. Like Nick said, it's 100% what we want to always do. So if we can make you guys just that little bit better each day, this helps us as well, because we don't talk about it necessarily as much as we should either in terms of ourselves. So yeah, we really appreciate it. So please just comment, send us messages, emails with things you want us to discuss, and we'll get them out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Have a lovely day, team. We'll
Thanks,
see you at
guys.
training tonight.
See you
rest of the week.
9:30 crew. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes.
Cool. See you guys.
Have a great day, guys. See you
Hard
later.
work.